So the wife says to me, I want Yorkshire pudding, Mark, I want sausage and mash, what can you do for me? Rainy day, I thought, right, let's do sausage and mash in a Yorkshire pudding. Right, start off with some premium pork sausage. Either make it yourself or buy it, but don't skimp on the price. This is worth the money. Get some good ones, 94% pork in these. Same with the herbs. These are actually from my garden, I'm proud to say. I've got a mixture of rosemary and sage and bay leaf. One bay leaf goes in the gravy. The sage here that I'm going to wrestle with actually gets fried and works as a garnish. Lovely, this stuff. Bit of thyme, that'll go in the gravy. Rosemary, they'll be roasted with the sausages, imparting some lovely flavour. I say that sage isn't being a little bit of a nightmare. There we go. Good. Okay. On with the mushrooms. These are chestnut mushrooms. These are also going into the gravy. Garlics. We're going to put 3 in the sausages, 1 in the gravy itself, along with the shallots. Good. We have chicken gravy and beef gravy, 500 grams of each. You don't have to buy luxuriously good gravy, use some Bisto for this, because we're putting so much flavour in, you can. Roasted onion, this is roasted along with the chicken thighs. I'll show you how to do this, nice and simple, this one. And there's the chicken thighs that we roasted with the onion. I'm taking the skins off as well, because the skins are going to work as a garnish and flavour for the gravy. There they are, look at those shards of deliciousness. Crispy fried onions, buy these, I did. They're going with the crispy sage as the garnish, along with the skins. We have a couple of teaspoons of freshly ground black pepper. We've got a teaspoon and a half of MSG. It's optional, I recommend it, it builds on the flavour. We have a tablespoon of good old Henderson's relish. Don't use Liam Perrins, promote Sheffield Henderson's. 50ml of white wine vinegar. 100ml of red wine. You can use Madeira or any other. We have 100 grams of salted butter. And a kilo of potatoes. That one's not green, it looks green, it's not green, it's definitely not green. We're going to take the peel off these and actually crisp the peels up into crisps and work on the garnish, wasting nothing with those onions. It's going to be great. Lovely. Oh, and the chicken skins. And we've got some Yorkshire pudding batter. I'm going to show you how to make this as well. We're going to make big old trays, plates to put the bangers and mash in. It'll be fantastic. Let's go. Oh yeah, Yorkshire rapeseed oil. Good. Right. Welcome to wobbly camera. I decided to mount it on the table just to make it as rickety and wobbly as possible for your viewing pleasure. Right, what we want to do here is create the chicken skins. Look how easily they fall off the thighs. How is this possible, I hear you ask? It's because I did it before and skimmed off some of the fat. We want to lay these as flat as we can, because ultimately we want to create these little shards of deliciousness, as I said. Chicken skin should never be wasted. It's the greatest part if it's done crispy. Chicken scratchings should be sold like pork scratchings. The world's missing something. So with these we're going to add 3 as garnish, which you just break up and add to the top of your dish when it's made, and 1 of them will go into the gravy itself to impart more flavour. They take in the oven around about 45 minutes. What you need to do in order to keep them flat is to make sure that you put some form of weight on them. Stops them curling up. In this case, what I'm actually going to do is put another piece of baking parchment on top of the skins, and then put the chicken and the onion in its roasting dish on top of there to work as the weight. Nice and easy. Once they're done as well, you just simply pop them on a little bit of kitchen paper just to render some of the oils off. You don't need to season them, you don't need to add additional oil. The fats will render out of the skin and crisp them up. A bit more rickety rock in action, and there goes the baking parchment. Look at that, cleaning my hands because I've touched raw chicken safety first. There you go. The chicken, a little drizzle of oil. We don't need to add too much salt and pepper to this one because of the other sodium parts that are in the dish, in the chicken gravies, in the MSG. Just a light seasoning will be sufficient for these. We're adding a lot of pepper to the gravy as well, so a light bit of that. Just mix it all around. This goes in an oven for 30 minutes at 180, or that's for a fan assisted, or 200 for your regular oven. And we're ready to go. Right, now more rickety action. Let's go for the Yorkshire pudding mixture. We've got 175 grams of strong flour, so bread flour here, 4 eggs mixed thoroughly, 300 millilitres of milk, a large bit of salt that we're not going to use all, and a nutmeg. We're going to end up using about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and just a pinch of nutmeg. Make a well with your flour and add the eggs into there. You can do this on a stand mixer. You can be big and strong like me and use a whisk. I only wanted to use a whisk, so I could bang it around on this table and just rock the camera a little more, because people just aren't doing that in video editing and they're missing a trick. If you can go for ASMR, you can go for rockety cameras. It's the latest craze. Mix your flour and your eggs first of all, because this is what's going to stop it going lumpy when you start to add your milk. Get this as smooth as you can, and then add it gradually, your milk, so 3 or 4 parts I suppose, 100 ml a time we'll say. Nice and gradual stir, rock that camera around. God, maybe eventually I'll learn that I'm rocking the camera around instead of paying too much attention to my whisking. That will help. There we go, look at that, no lumps, perfect. Second one goes in. Maybe he's learned, look at that. There we go, no more rocking camera action. Perfect, well done, Mark. Okay, let's add the last bit of that milk. There we go. Lovely. You want to rest your Yorkshire pudding mixture in the fridge, covered for between 30 minutes and 24 hours at most. When you leave it to rest like that, it just helps create a more stable mixture that rises better in an oven. These will be popped into some large tins I've got. They were sandwich tins I picked up, and they'll make a nice little plate. They go in an oven about 200 degrees, 180 again, for 25 minutes, and that gives you a nice crispy finish. Good stuff. Looks like we've got all that done. Pour that into our jug and we're ready to go. Voila! Look at that. Not a lump inside. Okay, right, let's get on with the sausages. These sausages are going to be fried first of all. We're going to just create a little bit of a Maillard effect on the sausage. It adds more flavour to it. And then we're going to pop them in the oven. You don't need a lot of oil because sausages have a bit of fat in them, and that will release ultimately, helping them cook. So you need that much oil, or potentially a little bit more, that I'll decide on later. Get your pan smoking. You want it hot, otherwise meat sticks. Whenever you've popped meat into a pan and it's stuck down, it's because the pan's not hot enough. You get your pan hot enough, the meat doesn't stick. Apart from on the wall a little bit, that hasn't got as hot. God, mix these sausages around, and there we go. Add your rosemary, a couple of sprigs of rosemary, and 3 of the garlic cloves. And all we want to do is add a little bit of colour to these, and we need some form of shifty around the pan tool. There we go. Trusty. It's actually some sort of salad thing, this, but I've always used it and I love it. It's as old as me. Right, as you can see, we're getting some nice colour on these sausages, and that's what we're going for here. We're going to finish them off in the oven, as I say, once again in the oven, 30 minutes, 180, 200. You see the theme that we're building here? It's going to make it really simple to get all your dish ready together. You put your Yorkshire's in, you put your sausages in, you have your gravy up and simmering. We're done. Wonderful. Right, okay. Touch more oil in here, and these are pretty much ready to go in the oven. I want to keep this pan and some of the flavour that's collected on it for the gravy, so I'm actually going to pop these in a little bit of a baking tray. You fight with that sausage, Mark. There you go. Okay, we look good to go. Let's pop these into the oven dish. You're ready to move on. There we go. Don't need to do anything else with these, so I say 30 minutes, 180 degrees. Keep your rosemary and your garlic in to add the flavour. That's simple. Right, let's get on with the gravy. The most complicated bit, but what you're going to be left with is actually the ingredients for a chicken and mushroom pie as well. Isn't that fancy? Right, we want a fair old bit of oil into this one because we're going to be sauteing quite a few of the ingredients first off to add some flavour. So around about a couple of tablespoons of oil into there. In go our shallots. The 4 shallots I've chopped into half, and the garlic roughly chopped here because we're sauteing. I don't want to burn the garlic, I want to get a nice golden colour to it. Good, let those saute a bit. Once they've developed a little bit of colour, we'll add our chicken skin. She's just 1 out of the 4 that we made. Look at that shard of deliciousness. Rip the chicken thighs in half. These will add more flavour if we do that one, and it allows me to move them around what seems to be a tiny pan for all these ingredients, but I assure you it's perfect. In goes the onion. So it's just 1 onion, quartered and roast with the chicken. Let's get a little bit more colour on these. Get everything talking, you know, making friends. Those flavours intermingling. That's what we're looking for here. Lovely. Leave that for a bit. Get a bit of colour on them, and then we'll go in with the black pepper. Quite a bit of this, but we want it quite peppery. It complements the sausages. In goes your mushrooms that I've roughly chopped, the bay leaf, the thyme. Good. Get this a good mix around, combine it all. We want this just to caramelise and develop a little bit. Keep using that word, caramelise, but that's what it's all about with this. It adds flavour. Flavour. How artfully I keep everything in the pan. Isn't that good, anyway? Lovely. Right, when that's picked up a bit of colour, we start to add our liquids here. So we're going in with the white wine vinegar, 15 mils, the 100 mils of Madeira or AN other red wine. We want that to reduce by about half. Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon. Let that reduce, as I say, about half until it gets a little bit thick and syrupy, but at this point just try and get any of the fronds off the bottom of the pan. Good, there we see, reduced. In with the rest of our liquids, which are the chicken gravy. So this is 500 ml of chicken, 500 ml of beef gravy. Delicious. You don't need to use expensive gravy for this. You've seen how much flavour we put in it. You just get lost and you waste your money. MSG. Try it. You might like it. I use it because it does create a better flavour. And it occurs naturally and it doesn't give you headaches, and there's a bad rap about it because one person once wrote something silly about it. Try it, it's nice. It's in all Chinese cooking, and who doesn't like Chinese cooking? Okay, I want to bring this to the boil. and then we're going to simmer this for guess how long? 30 minutes. So once we've got that to the boil, we can reduce the heat and just let it sit there, let the flavours dance together, create a homogeneous relationship. Right, okay, we're going to fry up the sage leaves really quick. This, you don't have to have the pan super hot. Sage leaves will be done in a matter of seconds, literally 5 or 10 seconds. Just pop them in. You can use a trial leaf. I've already done this off camera, so I know it's right. In they go there. Just make sure they've got a nice covering, and literally that's it. You can sprinkle them with a bit of rock salt if you want. I'm using all different sort of things with it, so I personally not. I'll just pop them onto some baking parchment, throw in a bit of oil all over the place. Right, potato peels. You peeled your potatoes, you're left with these. Bin them? No. Put them in a colander, wash them out, and then we're gonna make chips. And those chips are going to go onto the garnish. It's going to be wonderful. A little splodge splash of oil, about a tablespoon. A pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper, and that's it. You don't need to go super adventurous with them. Just mix it all together, and these will go onto a bit of baking parchment in an oven that's about 180 to 200. Yeah, you've got the theme. They can be done as quick as 8 to 10 minutes. Personally, mine took a little bit longer. They took 23 minutes. What I do recommend is, because they're going to be different sizes, keep an eye on them. So cook them, checking on them every 8 to 10 minutes, removing any that are already done. Just shifting them around a bit to make sure that they've each got a little bit of room to cook, and there's not too much overlapping going on there. But try them. Don't throw them in bin. It's crazy. All the flavours in the skins, all the good vitamins and minerals are in the skin. Why would you throw them away? There we go. Lovely. I'm left with messy hands. Right, on with our mash. Once the potatoes are cooked and they're very steamy, there we are, steamed potatoes. They're going to go in a ricer. Use a ricer. If you've not got a ricer, buy a ricer. Don't use one of those other mash things. This is the secret. It's not a secret, I'm telling you. Just use them. They're incredible. Right, all we're going to do is spoon the mash into the ricer. Rice them. It's very entertaining to watch, so let's use the magic of camera. We'll add 100 grams of the butter. Once again, that's a kilo of potatoes, and 50 mils of milk into this one as well. Magic of oh yeah, and salt. Yeah, we need salt. Right, into there, that into there, done. Magic of camera, and it's done. Good. Alright, so there's our riced mash. Make sure it's still hot because we need to add the butter into there and it needs to melt. There's my lovely spatula. Okay, let's add the butter into there. This is at room temperature, so it's going to melt in quite easy. You don't have to cube it or do anything fancy like that. Just plop it in. I'm not adding it in parts either. You can just mix it all together. The residual heat in the potato will melt it all. In goes the milk and a good pinch of salt. About that and that. Good. And then just give it a good stir. That's it. That's the secret to perfect mash. Butter. Shit ton of it. The wife didn't catch me with this. If she had, she'd have ripped me a new one. I just told her a little bit of milk were in it, and they were very buttery Maris Pipers. Just give it a little stir, and that's all you need to do. That's your mashed potato done. What we're going to do is, when we've got our Yorkshire puddings out, we're going to just get one of those little rings, shape it in there, pop it in the middle, sit your sausages on top. It's done. But this mash is incredible. Absolutely love it. Proper Sunday mash. Even the tabletop lights, as you can see. Ah, that's the consistency we want. It's delightful. Right. Oh God. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to enjoy this spoon. Okay. Ta-da! Gravy. Chinois. Or a sieve. It's up to you. And a measuring jug. As I say, with this gravy, once it's done for the 30 minutes, it'll reduce a little bit more, but that's concentrated the flavours. Now, you're left with your onions, your mushrooms, the chicken. As I say, you can make a pie with this. Just take the bones out, because they were bone on thighs, and that's your pie mixture. No waste again, and another dish. And you get a gravy out of it as well. Don't push on the meat, it pushes proteins through. Right, there's my Yorkshire pudding. Look at that. Ain't she a beauty? Okay, here's the ring for the potato. Let's pop that in the middle and get our potato out. There we go. This will serve, it should serve about 4 people. No, this serves one comfortably. Yorkshire puddings are only a hair, aren't they, after all? There's the mash. On this we're going to sit 3 of the roasted sausages, then make a little well of gravy. That's beautiful. Good. Right, now let's burn my fingers getting the sausages on. 1, 2, and 3. Good, there we go. Right. Let's get a bit of the gravy in, then we'll go for the garnish, the most exciting part of this all. You want a good covering on your gravy, because then the Yorkshire pudding will soak it in and you'll have things to dip it in after. And it's just all good. Okay, here are the crispy potato skins. Pop those on top and throw them about a bit. Maybe chuck one in the gravy, so I'll have to fish it out and eat it. That'd be a shame, wouldn't it? Sage leaf, crispy sage leaf, around about 3 or 4 for these. A lovely delicate flavour on there. Sage and sausage, just works so well. A chicken skin, and just crumble it up into little shards and then carefully place them amongst there, like you're doing some sort of protein and fried Jenga. Good. And then crispy fried onions, which should knock a few things off. There we go. Looking good. I'm doing quite well. Oh no, look. I told you, I've got to fish it out now. Put that there. Oh no, skin's made it. I'm going to have to eat these now. Oh dear. Well, never mind, hey. Right, there we go. Done. Hope you enjoyed that. I did. Oh dear. Yeah, see, even the professionals. And here's me. Oh shit. Excuse me. Thanks everyone.